run. City run, let's get it. Ain't no stopping. Then I'ma bust down for about an hour after this long ass city run. Yada.
What's good? Welcome back. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's another episode. Voice of Reason podcast. Now we present this episode with a heavy heart. Before I even get started, I like to say rest in peace to my cousin, my brother, Eric Reason Jr., also known in the community as Cheddar Man. Today, November 10th, 2019, my cousin tragically lost his life. And we all know the story. I'm not going to go into that right now. I don't want to start opening up old scabs and old wounds because I definitely still get emotional every time I talk about it, even 6 years later, excuse me. You know, it was all over YouTube, all over the news. And if I'm not mistaken, it's still videos on YouTube where you could actually even see the whole dang thing play by play. Sad thing, because on YouTube, you know, they'll, they'll ban, you know, people from showing like cruelty to animals and stuff like that. But they don't have no problem showing, you know, somebody getting their brains blown out. So that's crazy. But yeah, like I said, a heavy heart today. The day we lost my cousin. I just want to say a shout out to all my little cousins, Tyreek, Rashid, Kyrie, Parker, Lil Eric, Niera, my uncle, Eric Reason Sr., my cousin Tish, and yeah, love to y'all, because I know, you know, today is probably a hard day for you guys. Sadly, this memory is something that's gonna, you know, hit us and haunt us, you know, for the rest of our lives. And it's right when you start trying to get geared up for the holidays. So yeah, shout out, love y'all. Also, birthday shout out to my cousin Niera and to my uncle Big Greg. Happy birthday. They share their birthdays, you know, with this tragic day. But nonetheless, you know, life goes on. Everything I do when it's talking about this community work, organizing and being a voice for my community, I do that all in honor, you know, of my cousin, Eric Reason. So yeah, love to him, and love and shout out to all the other impacted families. You know, regardless of what the situations is or what's going on, you know, my heart and prayers always go out to y'all, you know, and I'm always scream justice for our loved ones. So just wanted to start by saying that. And yeah, let's get to it. I was actually wanting to do something different before I uploaded another episode, but I had some things on my mind, and like the slogan say, if nobody want to speak on it, I will. So I decided, you know, that it's probably a good thing to come on, turn the camera on, and acknowledge, you know, the life of my cousin, Eric Cheddar Man Reason. Also, rest in peace to my cousin Arion, his big brother, my big cousin. Rest in peace to Big Sexy Sean White. That was one of Eric's best friends who we just lost, you know, not too long ago, some months ago. Yeah, rest in peace and love to y'all, man. Like I said, we gonna continue to keep y'all names lit and continue to keep y'all stories alive through your loved ones and just through y'all memories for sure. Now, I've been seeing a long-standing debate that's always been a topic of discussion, especially locally around these parts of Northern California, when then we start talking about what cities is officially in the Bay Area and whatnot. I'm starting to see a lot of reels and a lot of videos online starting to surface back up where this argument is starting to become popular again. Let me just say that I come from an era where Vallejo wasn't actually accepted. You know, you people would tell you Vallejo ain't a part of the Bay, no matter the fact that it's connected right there, right off of the Bay water. You know, they didn't want to give us our credit for being a part of the Bay. I don't know what happened over the time. I guess because of the Mac Dre's and the E40s and whoever, you know, went out and made their mark and represented the city. You know, now you can't mention none of the main Bay Area cities without making sure you add Vallejo in there. Like I said, we right there connected to the water. So if you ask me for sure, Vallejo was Bay and one of the most trend-setting cities in the Bay. But when we start talking about the Bay Area from developing and growth and financial and economy standpoint, that's where the Vallejo is disconnected. In fact, when we start talking about some of the other cities that's always coming up in a discussion of if they really part of the Bay or not, when we talk about the Fairfields, we talk about the Pittsburghs, the Antiochs, the Concord, whatever. What's crazy is when we talk about interest, it seems like the Bay Area has more interest when they want to expand in those cities than they do in Vallejo. Not even interested in running that through Vallejo, which is no surprise because originally when the BART was first being designed, it actually was planned for it to run through Vallejo, but for some reason Vallejo rejected that idea, so that just never happened. Which is a reoccurring story when you come to different business opportunities and stuff like that Vallejo had. I'm talking about, like I said, the BART running through here. I believe at one point they was supposed to put the mall here. The Fairfield Mall should have been here. We didn't want that. The college was originally supposed to be here. Shit, it was one time where we was actually the capital of California, but we couldn't come up with the proper, you know, housing and stuff to facilitate, you know, capital structure. So yeah, we lost that. If I'm not mistaken, in recent years, as early as 2020, they were actually pitching again to expand BART to the North Bay and was pitching ideas to Vallejo. I don't know what happened, but like I said, when it came down to them actually mapping out and developing the actual model, it did not show no tracks or no extensions that was going to come to Vallejo. It was just going to go around it. And that just brings me to say straight up, big business, big money business don't mix with Vallejo, because Vallejo don't know how to do or know how to handle big money business. I mean, just straight up, period. I mean, just look at it. Look at it. We dropping the ball. We got all this potential. I don't know if it's the zoning or what it is, but overall it's the reputation, because like I said, we have a history of just mismanaged, missed opportunities and just bad decision making and just no solid leadership. Look at Mare Island. Mare Island just been like a ghost land for I don't know how long now. I'm not gonna take all the credit away from them, because I've been seeing them trying to do some things, but it was a lot of missed opportunities that came through there. The Paramount wanted to put a movie studio over there. Other big time developers had ideas and wanted to do stuff over there, but for one reason or another, probably because Vallejo trying to make whoever come get it, they want to make them responsible to get rid of the nuclear waste too. Don't quote me on that, but I do know that it still was a lot of nuclear waste over there, And to get rid of that, to dispose of that, is going to cost a lot of money. So a lot of the potential buyers or investors that was interested in that property wanted Vallejo to, handle that waste before they even made the purchase. And Vallejo didn't want to do that. They included that as a part of the purchase, that the person acquiring that property would also be responsible for disposing all that nuclear waste. Now that's a rumor I heard. Don't quote me on that. That's alleged. But anyways, and whatever the case is, it's just not nothing happening over there fast enough. And ever since the closure of the base, it's just been a ghost town. Look, our downtown. It's nothing cracking in our downtown. It's just like a ghost town. And when we start talking about the disconnect from the Bay and Vallejo, I mean, once you cross over that Carquinez Bridge, it's just a whole different scene. You don't see the streets with people just walking up and down the streets. You don't see, the nightlife. You don't see a lot of the different stores and stuff like that you would see in other areas. And to be honest, I know a lot of that is based on, I hate to say it, but a lot of it is racial driven, because Vallejo is one of the most diverse cities in the United States. We got a big Filipino population, a big Latino population, and a big African American population. So a lot of big corporations just rather set up in more white areas just to keep it straight up. So we do have to deal with that. But then on the other aspect, like I said, nobody wants to invest big money in Vallejo. We just have a bad reputation when it comes to business. Let me just give a quick little story that's kind of off base, but it's relevant. Back in my Pop Warner days, middle school, football coach from Benicia Panthers, black coach. It was him and his buddy. They drove out to the Crest one day and just started recruiting whoever they seen out that wanted to play football for free. They offered they'd take us to the practices, everything. We don't have to worry about nothing. Just make sure we got permission from the parents and, got the proper documents or whatever. And it was all good. So me and a handful of the cutties from the Crest and a few of the cutties from College Park, we signed up. So Benicia, who, had a reputation for being a losing team, they really didn't do a whole lot of winning and stuff like that. We went over there and started getting them some wins, boy, I tell you, for 2 years, playoffs and all. And they loved me out there, man. I used to get a lot of support from the city. I was in the paper all the time, getting MVP awards and just you name it. And it was always a white guy that used to hang out at the practices after a while, just kind of watching. After the practices, he'll come and, tell me, hey, you did good on that drill, or, you showed some good speed, or, give some advice on whatever little things to work on, whatever. Fast forward, when it started coming to the end of middle school, when we getting ready to start transitioning into high school, the same guy showed up at a practice, and in our conversation, he asked me about, high school. So, of course, I play for Benicia, so he's assuming I'm going to Benicia. So he's kind of, you guys should have a good team next year, because he's talking about some of the players I play with that should be going. And he's kind of trying to, vision what the team was going to look like once, the players from our division is transferring over to the JV. And, of course, me being from Vallejo, I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going to no Benicia High School. I'm going to Hogan. So he looked at me and was like, that's in Vallejo, right? Yeah, that's in Vallejo. I'm from Vallejo. I'm not from Benicia. I'm saying that proudly. Don't mix me up with this Benicia. I play here, but I'm not from Benicia, bro. I'm straight Vallejo with it. Okay, cool. Shook his hand. Never seen that man again. And then, anyways, I asked my coach about that guy. Who was that guy? Come to find out, it was a recruiter from De La Salle. And they was recruiting me. They was actually looking at me and ready to recruit me. But once they found out that I was a Vallejo athlete, they declined and just fell back because Vallejo athletes had bad reputations. We weren't worth investing in because they felt like we didn't have the discipline, or we just had too many distractions and too many other influences that it just wasn't worth the investment. And that's pretty much how they look at Vallejo all the way around the board, especially when we talk about these big businesses. I mean, let's talk about not only all the missed opportunities, but the failed opportunities. The Boys and Girls Club, mismanaged funds, gone. We don't even have a little league. I keep saying this, but that's like crazy to me that we can't even manage a proper little league because of whatever's going on. Probably mismanaged funds there too, and then arguments and beefs about who go be in charge of what, who's doing what or whatever. It's probably a lot of that, because at one time I did try my hand at supporting and volunteering to be on the board, but it was just a lot of stuff going on, we couldn't make it happen. But to their credit, that was a COVID year, and it was just crazy that year. We had to do all kinds of like different things by law and by requirements just to be able to pull something off. But yeah, we don't have that. We don't have a football league. We couldn't keep the super Walmart out here. Now all we left with is this little half of Walmart. Safeway, they moved out of town. And all the different stores that closed down and nobody ever picked it up and reinvested or rebuilt or nothing. The Rayleighs, the old Walmart parking lot by the B-Town Farms. I see they starting to flatten that, clean that up. So if I'm not mistaken, they gonna be building some housing and stuff over there. Hopefully that work out, because even when it came to the other little housing project there on Broadway, we couldn't finish that before we start running out of funds. I'm not even sure. I've been seeing lights on in that building, so something's going on. But yes, it's just a mess all the time. The Kmart, that parking lot, still empty. The Rayleigh's building, still empty. Not to mention all the schools that's been boarded up. What school is that over there in the South? Forgot the name of that elementary, but the elementary in the South had been closed. It's just been boarded up, wasted. Franklin Junior High over there rotten, being wasted. All these schools can't do nothing with them. Like I said, our downtown, we don't got nothing popping in our downtown, no type of nightlife, nothing for our kids to do. We used to have bowling alleys. We don't have no bowling alleys no more. And some of that we got to take the blame too, because to be real, a lot of us in Vallejo, for some reason, we just don't know how to act. I mean, when people do bring something out here, something that we could have a good time or something, it don't last long because we don't know how to act, man. We don't know how to conduct ourselves and appreciate, having resources and having things like that to do. That's just keeping it real. It end up getting shut down, somebody getting shot, somebody end up getting killed. It don't take long. So, a lot of it, we got to blame ourselves because we don't know how to act. We don't know how to police ourselves. I remember when they started building the Foot Locker out here. All you seen all over Facebook and Instagram, all that Foot Locker, they ain't gonna last too long. That's just gonna end up getting robbed, and nobody believed in it. Thankfully, they at least had the courage to make the move. It'd be nice if you could be able to have some investment into the home, the grassroots businesses and stuff out here. But like I said, it's nobody with no real solid structure of planning or strategic moves or real no real curriculum with substance for nobody to say, hey, I trust that I could put this money in your hand and you're going to do the right thing. So I'm not going to keep on going on and on about it, though. Like I said, I just kind of just jumped on a humbug. I wanted to bring y'all something different. So the next episode will look a little bit different. But until then, like the slogan say, if nobody want to speak on it, I will. Voice of Reason Podcast, Rob Reason signing off.